Hello everyone and welcome to Vlada's Place. Today we are making Osso Buco. There are few variations to this dish and I would certainly encourage you to do some research online and to compare at least 3 to 4 different recipes to figure out what works best for you. I learned this recipe from my Italian friend. And we'll serve it today on a homemade pasta because you saw me in one of the past videos make homemade pasta, so now I'm using it for all sorts of dishes. And since I'm hosting few friends over, I'm also gonna make this bread so we have a fresh warm bread for dipping and for the appetizer. I'll let the bread rest and rise and we're gonna move on with our recipe. So we'll start with about a 3/4 cup of pancetta or smoked bacon and a little bit of olive oil. Make sure to turn the bacon bits into a nice crispy golden pieces like these and then take them out. We're gonna need a little bit more oil than that, so add a little bit more olive oil, and now we are gonna just flour these veal shanks. And before I flour them, I put a little bit of salt and pepper on them. Now, we are not gonna take too long to fry them. We just wanna crisp the outside layer of the meat. So briefly, maybe about 3 to 4 minutes on each side, and then set them on a plate and we'll move on to prepare our vegetables. Now, what we have left on the bottom is some oil and this golden brown flour. It's been fried in, and we actually want that because that's gonna thicken up the sauce once we make the vegetables and we put the meat in. So a little more olive oil, and then we're gonna cook the veggies. I have 1 medium onion, 3 sticks of celery, and 2 carrots finely chopped. We'll cook vegetables for about 7 to 10 minutes, and all we need to add later is the salt and pepper per taste, a little bit of fresh garlic, or you can use granulated garlic, and towards the end I'm gonna put 2 to 3 bay leaves. Now that they are nice and soft, we're gonna start layering the veggies and meat together. I'm gonna use half of these veggies for the bottom of the baking pan, and then we're gonna layer the meat and we'll pour the rest of the veggies on top. This is actually a very simple dish. The only thing that I would suggest is that if you have a butcher in your neighborhood, I would suggest to have these veal shanks cut thicker, actually maybe double in size, double in thickness, because somehow they cook better. These are a little bit on a thin side, but they're still nice portion and they will do just fine. Okay, now let's just add the rest of the veggies on top, and then we'll add a little bit of a beef broth or chicken stock. Both will do fine. A little bit of white wine, maybe a touch more of salt and pepper, and we're gonna add that fried pancetta that we set aside. I'm adding some fresh garlic, as you can see, and then I will add the pancetta. I will also chop up some herbs and put them on the top of this dish and let them simmer together with the sauce. When it comes to herbs, I would say just go per your preference. You see me use a lot of sage in my cooking, and I do it because it's so healthy for us. And I have become very accustomed to a sage flavor, so I put it in a lot of dishes and it doesn't bother me. Maybe sage is not something that you would like, but definitely consider a little bit oregano, maybe a little bit of thyme, and maybe a little bit of parsley as well. As I suggested earlier, a little bit more salt and pepper. Then we're gonna add this pancetta bits, and all that's left to do is to add some white wine and a little bit of chicken or beef broth. When it comes to white wine, I find that I like to use sweeter white wines, but as you do your research online, I'm sure they'll give you instructions and suggestions to what white wine to use. By the way, this wine is coming straight from our dirt. And I say that because this winery is basically next door to where we live. I hope you will agree that this recipe was super easy and super simple to make. Now, all that's left to do is adding a little bit of chicken stock or beef broth, whatever you have in your pantry, just a little bit, because vegetables and meat will create their own juices. So we don't want meat to float in fluids. We just want it to be nice and juicy. And here I go. I just can't help myself when it comes to herbs. I got a little bit of oregano and thyme. And I'm going to cover this and set it in an oven on 350 for about 25 minutes. After that, I'm going to reduce the fire on 300 and let it cook for about 2 hours. As you can see, the bread turned out really good. It was a perfect, soft, warm sponge for the dip that I made for our company. Now, speaking of company, I have to apologize because since we were hosting, I totally forgot to record the final dish. The guests started arriving and I totally forgot that I needed a picture of the final product. But the dish was phenomenal. The meat was nice and soft. There was enough juice to go over noodles and it was simply to die for. Thank you all so much for watching and for spending time with me. This is Vlada Vladik, and I'll see you all tomorrow with a new recipe and a new cooking adventure.